LoreWarrior Online. The Hephaestus Scout Tank. Overview. Carn Malavai Fletcher commissioned work on a new light hover tank in 3062. He reasoned that a more unusual array of vehicles employing unexpected equipment would tip many a battle in the Hell's Horse's favour. Almost immediately, the scientist cast considered the Star League era Kanga, the hover tank with the unusual ability to jump over difficult terrain. With this in mind, the engineers went to work designing an omni-vehicle chassis that could imitate the Kanga's jump capability. Unfortunately, it was astonishingly difficult to reproduce the so-called artificial intelligence system of the AL-2200 used by the Star League era Kanga to maintain control, balance, and targeting of the vehicle through its jumps. The task grew even more difficult when meshing the same system with the multi-role control systems required for omni-vehicles like the Epona. While certainly within the realm of possibility for the clan engineers, the design of the system proved prohibitively expensive. Carn Fletcher ordered the Hephaestus project shelved in late 3063, where it likely would have stayed had his successor, James Cobb, not given the scout tank another chance. Capabilities. Before production began, engineers debated the use of the weight and space freed up by the removal of the jumping thrusters. Carn Cobb settled the debate by noting that the clan could use a more flexible field infantry transport unit, and thus 4 tons of the Hephaestus's internal space was given over to an infantry bay that can accommodate a full point of non-battle armoured infantry with room to spare for any special cargo. In the primary configuration, the Hephaestus is almost a purely electronic warfare system, with TAG and ECM enhancing its abilities as a scout, and allowing it to call in artillery strikes. 2 turret-mounted medium lasers also give it a modest medium-range punch. The Alpha and Charlie configurations are missile support platforms, with the former using a single Artemis-enhanced LRM launcher and the latter employing the more flexible ATM system. The Beta configuration is a short to mid-range brawler that mounts twin medium lasers backed by an ammo-efficient Streak 6-pack. Deployment. The Horses began a modest production of the Hephaestus Scouts in late 3064 as part of Carn James Cobb's effort to rebuild the Horse's battered Towman. The majority of these tanks have been used to replace losses in the 21st Mechanized Assault Cluster and the Alpha Keshik, both of which suffered heavy losses in Carn Fletcher's ill-fated war with the Ghost Bears. So the Hephaestus is a 30-ton hover vehicle. Its power plant is the Fusion 110. Its cruise speed is 86 kph. Its flank speed is 130 kph. Its armour is compound VM22 ferrofibrous. Its armament then is 6 tons of pod space, available for a maximum of 5 tons in the turret. It's manufactured by Niles Industriplex Beta, and its communication system is Build 1700/5 Tacticom. Its targeting and tracking is the Series XL FWS with TRTTS Mark III active probe. Stat-wise, this turns into a vehicle that has a cruising speed of 8 and a flanking speed of 12, with 10 heatsinks to keep everything nice and cool. The armour on the standard configuration is 20 on the front, 20 on the sides, 18 on the rear, and 18 on the turret, with the active probe and cargo bay for the infantry always being available. The weapons on the primary configuration then is the 2 medium pulsers that you see in the artwork, with those being located obviously in the turret, with a tag system mounted in the middle between the 2 barrels there, the ECM suite located snugly in the body. The A configuration is a single LRM-15 in the turret with Artemis and an ER small in the turret to, I guess, help with any infantry attacks. 8 tons of ammo, sorry, not 8 tons, 8 shots of ammunition being there. The B configuration is 2 ER medium lasers, with a Streak 6 also located in the turret with a single ton of ammo, and the Charlie configuration is 2 ATM-3 systems with 60 shots, split between both launchers. Not a bad little vehicle. Artwork is okay. It reminds me a lot of like a skiff from something like Star Wars. It has that kind of feel to it, especially the artwork that makes it like it's going across like desert sands or something along those lines. But yeah, it's not bad, not a bad little vehicle. Bit busy visually, but yeah, outside of that, it's kind of cool. Again, I like the idea that this is something that the Hell's Horses, they tried something different, they couldn't quite get it to work. It's also nice to have a reference to the Kanga jump tank. That's a fun little vehicle. I doubt it gets much use by many people, but yeah, it's a quirky little thing. Yeah, definitely a good little sort of cheap harassment vehicle, good to get your infantry involved in the fight. It's got very good speed for its weight. Obviously, hover vehicles don't suffer as much with regards to uneven terrain, so they can just thunder across that. I don't have to worry too much about doing things like piloting, well, not driving skill checks, that kind of thing. Obviously, a little bit frail when it comes to motive hits, like any hover vehicle can be, but its armor is okay. It can take a few hits before you have to start worrying about internal damage causing any long-term issues. Its weapon system in the default is pretty decent. It's got a good chance to hit with the twin medium pulses for anything light enough that it can get close to before it drops off its infantry. But definitely the kind of vehicle I could see doing the job of getting the infantry on the field and then supporting them for a turn and then basically leaving the field afterwards. Or at least falling back to a line of more well-equipped or more heavily armoured support craft, essentially. Or obviously like a star of battle mechs, and or just being able to take cover somewhere and try to provide some kind of support with its weapon systems. Obviously, that's where the LRM version comes in. Definitely the kind of thing that it'd be fun to run as like those mixed kind of units of clan forces that you don't see very often, especially with some of the more sort of traditional, let's say, of the invading clans things. That the Hell's Horses definitely brought a different style of combat to the table, and definitely allowed you to, like, looking at it from creating a scenario, GMing something, definitely a bit more fun with being able to have clan armoured vehicles alongside, obviously, clan battle mechs, and being able to use things like power armour and infantry all in one force, which is, I think, quite fun, and a bit more of a challenge, and something more interesting for players than always fighting the same kind of clan mechs over and over and over again, you know? So, yeah, not bad. Don't mind it. The Hephaestus, decent little vehicle. 30 tons, you can't go wrong. I mean, clan stuff is great. ATM systems is also very, very good. For people who don't know, ATMs are like the Innisphere's MML systems. They are an omni system, a bit like how LBs can do cluster shot and solid shot. ATMs can switch to firing long range, medium range, or short range missiles as required. So you have to have like a set amount of the ammo split between those different range types, and they have different damage profiles, obviously based on what missile system you're firing. So in that scenario, with the C configuration, for instance, you could have one launcher that's firing a long range shot while the other launcher is prepped with a short range missile, in case you're firing at two different targets ahead of the vehicle, one close, one long range. Or if you attack and your first turn you're firing your LRMs, and then in the next turn you're switching over to obviously like an SRM situation for a close range assault. You've got that, and every time you're rolling for 3 missiles rather than 5s or 2s or 4s, that kind of thing. So ATMs, they're flexible, basically flexible fire option. The Capellans made their own version, the MML system, the multi-missile launcher, which is different numbers again. I think they do I think it's MML. I think it's 3, 5, 7, something like that. It's weird. Anyway, I'll stop rambling about weapons. But yeah, thanks for listening. As always, I'll catch you all for the next one, and we'll see what happens with the next clan vehicle. What will it be? What will it be? If you have the book, you know what it is. But the mystery. Bye.